Jungkook's arrival has redefined the dynamics of global recognition, particularly as his popularity continues to grow at an unprecedented pace. This article examines the reasons behind Hollywood actors' surprise at Jungkook's influence in the US market, analyzing his cross-industry appeal, the structural shifts in global media, and the way his image challenges the long-standing cultural dominance of Western celebrities. Jungkook's rise in America is not an isolated phenomenon tied only to BTS. Rather, it represents a larger trend where international talent now competes directly with Hollywood's traditional stars. What sets him apart is the scale of his reach and the mechanisms driving it. In recent years, Jungkook's name has become a constant feature across American media outlets, social media platforms, and streaming services. His solo projects, music collaborations, and appearances frequently top charts such as Billboard Hot 100 and Spotify Global, benchmarks that Hollywood stars are increasingly aware of. Hollywood actors, who have historically relied on film releases, awards, seasons, and late-night television appearances to maintain relevance, are now facing competition from someone whose fame originates in music but expands into lifestyle, fashion, and broader cultural influence. Jungkook's presence in the US market is amplified by the way fandom operates in the digital era. His supporters stream songs endlessly, promote content across multiple platforms, and ensure his visibility never wanes. This creates a consistency in exposure that many actors, limited by project release cycles, find difficult to match. For decades, Hollywood actors assumed their dominance in the global entertainment market was largely unchallenged. US films, television shows, and celebrity culture occupied the central stage in shaping global trends. What shocks Hollywood now is how Jungkook, a South Korean singer, has disrupted this balance by commanding a level of recognition that directly competes with A-list actors. The surprise comes from multiple layers. First, the US entertainment industry has long operated under the belief that mainstream success must be rooted in Western culture. Jungkook's popularity challenges this idea by demonstrating that non-Western talent can penetrate and dominate the same markets without conforming to traditional Hollywood pathways. Second, Hollywood actors often measure influence through media coverage, brand endorsements, and box office pull. Jungkook matches or surpasses them in each of these areas. Major American brands ranging from global fashion houses like Calvin Klein to digital platforms like Spotify align themselves with Jungkook because his reach extends across continents, offering both cultural relevance and financial impact. Another factor fueling Hollywood's shock is Jungkook's mastery of digital ecosystems. Traditional actors rely heavily on film studios, publicists, and scheduled media appearances. Jungkook, on the other hand, operates within a fan-driven, social media-dominated ecosystem where direct communication with audiences bypasses intermediaries. His live broadcasts, Instagram activity, and interactions on platforms like TikTok provide constant engagement with fans, fostering loyalty that translates into measurable success in sales and streaming. This digital advantage allows Jungkook to sustain visibility far beyond the promotional cycles of Hollywood projects. For example, while a film actor might dominate headlines for a few weeks around a movie release, Jungkook trends consistently across social platforms, regardless of whether a new project is being promoted. The algorithm-driven nature of platforms means his fan base ensures his content resurfaces repeatedly, reinforcing his presence in the cultural conversation. The US entertainment industry is also coming to terms with the broader forces of globalization, which Jungkook symbolizes. Streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus have globalized media consumption, exposing American audiences to non-Western content at an unprecedented scale. Similarly, music platforms like Spotify and Apple Music break down geographical barriers, placing Korean artists like Jungkook on the same playing field as American singers and indirectly Hollywood actors. Hollywood actors are surprised because this global landscape erodes the cultural monopoly they once enjoyed. Audiences are no longer confined to US-produced entertainment. They actively seek out international talent. Jungkook, with his polished artistry and global appeal, embodies this transition. His success demonstrates that cultural influence is no longer determined by Hollywood alone, but by a wider array of players who leverage global distribution channels effectively. Jungkook's ability to extend beyond music into fashion and lifestyle intensifies Hollywood's shock. While many Hollywood actors take pride in their association with fashion brands and lifestyle endorsements, Jungkook's partnerships often eclipse theirs in visibility and impact. His collaboration with Calvin Klein, for instance, was not merely an endorsement, but a cultural moment, sparking widespread discussion across US media outlets and setting new benchmarks in marketing reach. Hollywood actors are accustomed to brand partnerships being aligned with film promotions or personal milestones. Jungkook, however, integrates his brand collaborations seamlessly into his ongoing public narrative, ensuring sustained relevance. In doing so, he demonstrates how celebrity influence today requires diversification across industries. This cross-industry presence creates a perception of ubiquity, which makes Hollywood actors who may rely solely on acting roles appear limited in comparison. Another dimension where Hollywood actors feel Jungkook's impact is in streaming culture. Platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube have made streaming numbers a primary metric of success, often reported by mainstream media with the same weight as box office statistics. Jungkook consistently achieves record-breaking streams, reinforcing his dominance in a manner that Hollywood actors cannot replicate because their success is tied to film performance rather than direct audience interaction. This comparison highlights a fundamental shift. While a Hollywood actor's influence may fluctuate depending on box office numbers, Jungkook's influence is continuously reaffirmed through daily streaming figures and chart placements. This constant validation magnifies the perception of his dominance, leaving Hollywood actors astonished by the scale and consistency of his popularity. Jungkook's rise in the US also reflects broader shifts in audience preferences. American audiences, particularly younger generations, are increasingly drawn to diverse cultural representation. Jungkook embodies this shift by offering a globalized identity that resonates with audiences across borders. His artistry is rooted in Korean culture but presented in a way that is accessible to international markets, making him an appealing figure for US fans who seek diversity in entertainment. Hollywood actors are surprised because this preference undermines the traditional star-making system they rely on. Whereas Hollywood once dictated the cultural conversation, audiences now co-create it through fandoms, digital interactions, and global engagement. Jungkook thrives in this participatory environment, further widening the gap between his mode of influence and the older, top-down Hollywood model. From an economic standpoint, Jungkook's popularity in the US has significant implications. His projects generate substantial revenue not only for the music industry but also for fashion, advertising, and digital platforms. Hollywood actors, though still lucrative for studios and brands, are confronted with the reality that a single individual like Jungkook can rival or even surpass their collective economic pull in certain sectors. Brands that traditionally relied on Hollywood faces to reach global audiences are shifting investments toward Jungkook, recognizing that his influence guarantees measurable returns. This reallocation of resources is another source of surprise for actors, as it challenges their assumption of being the default choice for high-value endorsements in the US market.